Good evening, everybody. Welcome. I now call to order our regular scheduled Board of Commissioners meeting for February 3rd. It's been a little while since we've seen you. We had some inclement weather at the last meeting, but we're back here tonight. It's funny how things can change 2 weeks later from snow and ice outside to 70-degree weather, but that's North Carolina and Fuquay-Varina, where the sun's always shining bright for you. First two orders of business today will be our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. I've asked Mayor Pro Tem Marilyn Gardner to lead us in our invocation, and Betty Parker with Wake County School System will lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Betty has been with Wake County School Systems for just a few years and get ready to retire at the end of this month, and she's done, chances are any new school that you've seen built or around Fuquay-Varina, she's been involved with in the real estate department. So Betty, thank you for everything that you've done with schools here. Fuquay-Varina's been very fortunate to get a lot of new schools on here, and we appreciate all your hard work and your whole team's help with that. If you would, please stand.
Please bow with me. Our Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for this beautiful place that we live and for all the many blessings you have given us. We're grateful for this wonderful day that we've had with the sun. It was shining bright in Fuquay-Varina. And we thank you for this opportunity for us to gather as one group in step for our community. And we ask your guidance as we go through the items on the agenda this evening, that we may make decisions that are the best in your sight and for this town going forward. And we ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both. Next item of business is our meeting protocol. At this time, I ask Town Manager Mitchell to review the meeting protocol for public participation as it relates to this meeting. Adam, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Board. It's good to be with you tonight. Tonight's Town Board meeting is both in person and live streamed on the town's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Tonight's meeting contains a public comment period, one item tabled from a previous meeting, and one public hearing. The public is invited to comment in person. When it is the appropriate time, Mayor Massengale will call on all those wishing to address the Town Board. All attendees that have appeared in person to address the Town Board during the public comment period should provide your name and address on the green registration sheet by the podium prior to the public comment period beginning. All attendees that have appeared in person to address the Town Board during a scheduled public hearing should provide your name and address on the white registration sheet by the podium. We ask all those wishing to address the Town Board either during the public comment period or a scheduled public hearing to begin their comments by clearly stating their name and address for the public record. The public is asked to keep all comments to 3 minutes so that all that wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. To be respectful of those that may have different views on matters addressed by the Town Board, we ask that all in attendance respect the decorum of the meeting by refraining from clapping, making loud noises, and generally showing support or displeasure for comments made during the public comment period or public hearings. Police Chief Smith will be asked to escort from the boardroom anyone not respecting the process, and it is the discretion of the mayor as the presiding officer of the meeting to continue the public comment and or public hearing period if the meeting protocol is not followed. This concludes the protocol for tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Adam. Next item of business is the approval of the minutes from the January 6, 2025 regular scheduled meeting. Any changes or additions to the minutes? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item of business on our agenda tonight is a presentation. Item 4A, presentation for Black History Month proclamation. Before I read my proclamation for February for Black History Month, a few things I want to highlight. We had a great, since our last meeting, which was January 6th, was when our last meeting was. We had gotten together. There's been a lot of events that have happened since then, and one of them was Martin Luther King celebration, and that was in January, and that was right before the snow came. And that was a great turnout and a really good event. We had over 100 participants walking from Falcon Park to First Baptist Church. And at First Baptist Church, it was standing room only. Every seat was filled in there and people standing around the outer edges. Bill, how many people does that church hold? Do you know off the top of your head? A few hundred, though.
I don't even know. At least 120 or 180. I have no
Probably,
idea.
probably a couple hundred. It's full. It was full nonetheless that day.
Probably 180.
Standing room only on that. And so that was a great event. It was a breakfast and then some great speakers. And so a lot of participation in our community. And then February came, and this past Saturday, February 1st, our Black History Stakeholders Group has been working hard on an event this year. And this was a gospel celebration event that brought together a variety of different individuals in our community, so that it became over 100 different singers that were singing gospel music into a sold-out art center on Saturday. And so that this group had been meeting. This is the third event the group's done in 3 years, and so we've been very, very proud of this group right here, and to have to continue to make different events. As words were said to me that day, is this is only the beginning for this event. It's only going to grow from there. And where do you grow from a sold-out event? But you have more great events with it. And so that was a really exciting day right there to kick off Black History Month on February 1st right there. So I'd like to read this proclamation. Whereas each year the month of February is dedicated to the observance of Black history, and whereas the roots of Black History Month trace back to the year 1915, when Dr. Carter G. Woodson founded the organization known today as the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And whereas the significance of Black History Month lies in the celebration of the numerous achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development. And whereas the town of Fuquay-Varina is committed to fostering an inclusive community where all citizens, past, present, and future, are respected and acknowledged for their contributions and potential contributions to our community. And whereas, together, the Black History Stakeholders Group and the town of Fuquay-Varina have undertaken ambitious initiatives to explore Fuquay-Varina's local Black history through such projects as Fuquay-Varina's First and the Landmarks Project. In 2025, the partnership will create Black history through the arts. And whereas the town of Fuquay-Varina is proud to honor the history and contributions of African Americans in our community throughout our state and nation. And now, therefore, I, Blake Massengill, Mayor of the town of Fuquay-Varina, do hereby proclaim February 2025 as Black History Month, and encourage all citizens to celebrate our diverse heritage and culture and continue our efforts to create a world that is more just, peaceful, and prosperous for all. And if you'd like to see any of the previous videos that were made for Fuquay-Varina's First, or more information about Landmarks Project, you can find that on the town's website. The town's website continues to host information there. Brian, you did a great job being the MC this past Saturday. Kept the crowd going and really did a good job there. And you were on the Black History Stakeholders Group, and Bill, same with you. Thank you for your involvement on that also. And you're always a great musician, well known in our community for what you do there too. So
Thank you.
thank you both.
Appreciate it.
Next item on our agenda is the public comment period. I want to back up one thing to Black History Month. Susan, you've been very instrumental with staff and Maureen that are here helping out with our Black History Stakeholders Group. And I want to publicly thank y'all very much for what y'all have done, helping out the group, helping each month getting together and working toward that. And obviously, that is no easy undertaking when you got a bunch of individuals in a room with ideas coming together. So thank you both for your help right there with the committee too. Y'all been very involved. I don't think we have any other members in the audience here right now, but thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda is the public comment period. At this time, the town clerk will call on individuals that are in attendance and have registered to address the town board prior to the meeting. The public comment period is a time for the public to address the town board about any matter that is not the subject of a scheduled public hearing. Those speaking are asked to begin by clearly stating your name and address for the public record. Please limit your, anybody signed up for public comment period?
Yes, Mayor, we do. We have Keith Sarich as the first person who
Keith?
signed up.
This is for public comment period, not a public hearing.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. My name is Keith Sarich. I live at 643 Okanichi Drive, Fuquay-Varina, in the village of Sipaha. I didn't see it on the agenda minutes tonight. Just kind of a quick question, and it may or may not be addressed or what the latest is. I also keep up to date on the newsletters, but we live in the village of Sipaha. It's been a while since I've attended the public, town meeting, but of course there's a lot of growth in the area. And the two things that concerns a lot of the residents, our house among many, are on the berm. That's right there on a 2-lane road, which is, 24/7 there. And I understand that the Northeast Judd Parkway expansion is an NCDOT project. My question is I thought that the intersection of Northeast Judd Parkway and Highway 55, that area was supposed to be modified and revised starting, I thought it was in December, and I haven't seen any kind of movement there. My other question is there any kind of insight that the town knows about the Northeast Judd Parkway expansion? I think it's NC 501 or whatever. I'm in communication with the project manager, but they don't know if I believe it's a funded project. It has a huge impact on the village of Sipaha. I remember when the highway was first built, there was a lot of concern from the public. So my question is any news on the intersection there that is supposed to be worked on, and particularly any updates on what you may know about the Northeast Judd Parkway expansion? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Both of those projects are projects that are in the pipeline, and a little bit of delay with construction funding previously coming through COVID, but those projects are still continuing through. Matt Poland, our engineering director. Matt, will you raise your hand for this gentleman right here? He is in charge of all of our transportation projects, and if you go see him, he'll step out with you and be able to answer every question with any detail that you like there. But it's as good news as going on in the world of transportation improvements.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming tonight.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Matt. Eva, do you have anybody else?
We do. Danielle Caro.
Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you.
My name is Danielle Caro. I live at 414 Longfellow Street, Fuquay-Varina, NC. I was here at the last board meeting to discuss the rezoning of the lot next to my house. Through that meeting, I learned that there was over 50 complaints about 498 Longfellow Street, the half-done moldy townhome at the top of our street. Now, just to jog your guys' memory, there was a board meeting December 4th, 2023. I watched the entire thing. Judson Smith, who owns Capital Match LLC, he is the one building the townhome. That is still not done. I highlighted at the top, March 7th, 2023, this letter was given to Pam Davidson. I have highlighted very important factors in this letter. Right there, he says, so I hoped I was doing them a service bringing quality product to their immediate area. If you guys have gone by my street, off Bridge Street, you will see there is no quality product completed. We are in 2025 now, February 2025 to be exact. I also assured the Colemans that the back entry to their house off Bridge Street would remain as indicated by the surveyor stakes that are currently at the project site. Now, at the last board meeting, someone who works for this town said that property lines are imaginary lines. Well, they are not imaginary when we are tax-paying citizens. We pay property tax. That property tax is used to pay some of your salaries. And may I remind you that you guys are elected officials, that your seats are up for re-election. You guys sat in that meeting on December 4th and you allowed the rezoning based off of the elevations on the second page. I don't see those elevations. They are not there. What I see is a half-done townhome with subflooring, rotting. I see trash, and I see wood rolling into the street off of Bridge Street where buses go full of children. Cars, parents, tax-paying citizens of this town. You guys allowed Judson Smith into our neighborhood
He promised a quality quality product. There is not one there. And that was almost 2 years ago. So I'm standing here asking you, what are we going to do about this? We have a historical Baptist church across the street that has to stare at that. There is an elderly African-American woman whose property is being encroached on by wood that is on her property line. I had the pleasure to sit down with Ms. Coleman for an hour and speak with her. I spent 2 weeks from that last board meeting talking to everyone in my neighborhood about the issues that this townhome has created. People who have come and complained to you, over 50 complaints. And I'm here speaking on behalf for them. I've spoken to the church, and we're sick of it, and we're holding every single one of you accountable moving forward. Your seats are up for re-election. Do something. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. If you'd like to, Danielle, Jim, who's in charge of development services, can provide some more information to you about what's going on with Danielle. If you'd like Jim to provide you some more information, he can provide you information that's going on in the past 2 weeks on addressing that location right there. Jim, if you would like to,
I have spoke with Jim. He told me he was given.
Danielle, comments are done. Danielle, comments are done. Sit down. Comments are done. Comments are done. Danielle, comments are done. Okay. Eva, do you have anybody else who would like to speak?
We do. Emily Holloway.
Emily, welcome.
Emily Holloway, 312 Andrew Road, Fuquay-Varina. I'm back. First of all, I would like to thank all of you or whoever was responsible for reducing the speed limit to 25 miles per hour on Vance Street as it goes around the corner to Spring Street. It was 35, now it's 25. We as neighbors are very happy about that. We appreciate maybe we can slow down that traffic. Also, I guess maybe you're aware that January 13th, the News and Observer did an article how Fuquay-Varina's zip code, 27526, is now number 20 and most desirable out of 40,000 places to live in this country, which the median home price is $460,000. And there are currently 2 multi-million-dollar projects going on in Fuquay to build 1,000 homes, which leads me to a complaint that I've had for quite a while about the intersection of Fuquay and Raleigh streets. We do not have crosswalks there. It's in the social district. There are a lot of people walking around, sometimes with alcohol. There are no crosswalks, and there are also no handicap accessible sidewalk ramps. And I do not understand. I've been talking about this for over 5 years, and it still has not been rectified. So as I said before, it's a liability that for the town that these handicap, they are not ADA accessible, and we need crosswalks at those intersections, especially with the Arts Center. And to make, you probably are aware of this, but this Thursday, February, whatever day it is, 6th, from 1:30 to 3 o'clock at the Fuquay-Varina Arts Center, there is Wake County, in collaboration with the City of Raleigh and the Town of Cary and the Local Housing Authority, they're having a meeting from 1:30 to 3 to get residents' input on housing, affordability, and what residents of Fuquay-Varina and Holly Springs think about that. So I would encourage anyone maybe listening to this, if you're interested in housing affordability, to come to that meeting on Thursday at the Art Center. You can register for it and get some input, because if we're going to build 1,000 new homes and the median price is $460,000, which is not affordable for a lot of people that work in this town if we want to live, work, and play, we need to do some work here, and I don't know why we don't have. Apex actually disbanded their volunteer community organization and has a department now for housing affordability. That certainly would look well if this town is number 20th in the country to move. We need to step up and be responsible and have people want to live here and that can afford to live here. So I'm asking you for crosswalks, accessible ramps. If anybody wants to come to that housing meeting on Thursday, that would be wonderful to get some input from the local citizens. And thank you for lowering the speed limit. That was wonderful for us. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Tracy in the back, you can provide her an update if she'd like to talk to you about, which I don't think she's paying attention to me, but Tracy, if you'd like to raise your hand so you know who Tracy is, he'll be glad to provide you updates with all the road improvements that are going on in that area at that time, and Tracy will be glad to go out with you in the hallway, Ms. Holloway. Also, Fuquay-Varina being 20th hottest zip code, 27526, that's a pretty big accolade. I'm very proud of that, and I think that shows how Fuquay-Varina's got a lot of great things going on. Eva, do we have anybody else that will signed up? Okay, let's go to public hearings. Next item on our agenda are public hearings. Public hearings are a time for the petitioner to present his or her request and for the public to give input, voice their favor or opposition to the request. If you wish to speak and are physically in attendance, please step forward to the podium one at a time. Provide your name and address on the registration log at the podium and clearly state your name and address for the public record. We ask all those addressing the town board to please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. Items tabled from previous meetings. Item 6A, zoning map amendment, Muhammad Kayali, 426 and 428 Longfellow Street, REZ 2024-14. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davison. Pam, good evening.
Good evening. I'm supporting the agenda abstract and supporting documents in the official record of the town. Just as a refresher, the purpose of this agenda item is to consider a requested zoning map amendment for a total of .169 acres located at 426 and 428 Longfellow Street from the residential low-density zoning district to the town center residential zoning district. The subject property consists of 2 lots from the original Lincoln Heights subdivision dating back to 1945. The Land Development Ordinance defines the lots as lots of record, so the property owner is permitted by right to construct 1 single-family home on each lot with reduced setbacks. The requested TCR zoning and proposed townhouse development will bring the properties into compliance with the current codes and standards and incorporate zoning conditions which require specific facade elements, including a covered entry or front porch, glazing on the front door, and no vinyl siding, instead of developing under the non-conforming lot of record allowance. At the December 16th, 2024 regular meeting, the Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval. At the January 6th Town Board meeting, the Town Board voted to close the public hearing and table consideration until the January 21st meeting, which was canceled due to weather, which brings us to tonight. Since the January 6th meeting, staff has discussed with the petitioner their commitment to the town's code of ordinances for maintaining a clean and orderly site during construction. The petitioner is available tonight and has verbally agreed to this commitment, but stated he was not interested in conditioning it as a voluntary condition on his rezoning application. Again, the motion tonight is to approve REZ 2024-14, a zoning map amendment at 426 and 428 Longfellow Street from the residential low-density zoning district to the town center residential zoning district, as it is reasonable and in the best interest of the public for the reasons identified by management and staff. I am available for any questions, and the petitioner is here tonight.
Any questions for Director Davison before we ask the petitioner? Okay. Pam, petitioner's here, you mentioned here, we would like to hear from the petitioner. They've heard the concerns and how they plan to address the concerns of the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. My name is Muhammad Kiali, and I live in 3616 Arrowwood in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm the part owner. Now I'm a real estate agent, actually licensed real estate agent since 2006, and I'm a licensed general contractor builder holding a license number 85671. I actually do understand the frustration of the shared with the residents. I had a chance to talk to Danielle, and I heard Danielle about, her comments about the construction on the same road, actually. So the town officials, they requested that I put that on the comments, but I see it's not necessarily because these, adding this condition, I think it's not necessarily because it's already, we need to meet the expectation, or this expectation is already under the local and state regulations. So I've seen some builders actually did work there, and they came in and they did some clean work, and they left the area, and their townhome looks good, and that is at Gala Construction LLC on property address 451 Longfellow. So I'm here just, to give you a commitment as been a resident for Wake County in like over 30 years. and a real estate agent are bound to a lot of regulation and rules. And I've been real estate agent licensed since 2006. And so I'm committed actually to keep this site clean and bound to the rules and regulation, but I don't think it's necessarily to put it on the comments. So I'm here. If you have guys any question, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you for coming here tonight.
Thank you.
Board members, any question for the petitioner?
Well, Mr. Mayor,
Sir.
Mr. Kajali, I just had a concern, and I've expressed this concern over and over again, and it regards the density proposed in the development at Longfellow Street. My concern is the changing of the character of that community. Historically, it was a community that had a predominantly single-family homes, and the development that is continuing over on Longfellow Street, as we can see and heard tonight, has created some issues. And I think that we as a board need to look at that and consider how we can address and prevent any future concerns that are occurring over on Longfellow Street. And, you know, unfortunately, your proposal comes at that time when we haven't really settled on the future development at Longfellow Street, in my opinion. So I just wanted to make those comments to you.
I don't know if that's a comment or a question.
It's no question.
As far as Cameron, you know, these actually, as the city officials mentioned, these are two lots. They register as two lots already. So, and on the street, actually, on 451 Longfellow and 453 Longfellow, they built very much the same thing, or, you know, a townhome, which is actually with 2 hours separation wall on each lot. I mean, the two lots have, each lot have a townhome, and the other lot have a townhome, but they are share with the 2 hours wall, which is what we're asking for is just very similar. It's been done on the same street.
Sir, I think the question that's been brought up, though, the concern was job site tidiness, the inconvenience to the neighbors that's been caused with materials in right-of-way blocking it, trash that's been on the job. You mentioned that you would be keeping a orderly and clean job site. Can you share with the board what would you be doing differently so that the neighborhood did not have to deal with what they've had to deal with down the street? That's where the heartburn has came from.
Yeah, basically, you know, it's, as a construction team, we have on our list that's, you know, daily cleanup. It's just always respect to the neighbors. We make sure that we know before we start the building to send a letter to all the neighbors with our phone numbers and our contact. So we'll be there, you know, to answer any question, any concern, or if they have any issues we could solve, you know, together. That'll be great. So I think that's one of the things I could do, you know, just send letters to the neighborhood or put a sign before we start the construction with our information. And I think this is a public information too. I mean, anybody can look into this information and find out.
Okay. Any further questions for this petitioner?
Yes, sir. I just, Mr. Mayor, I don't want you to feel like we're attacking you by any means. Me, I can speak because I live in the neighborhood. I'm technically almost behind that property. I guess for me, I guess, and Commissioner Harris, since he grew up in the neighborhood, it's one of more of a historical standpoint, because at one time there was only allowed in that community brick single-family homes, one story. I remember when some people, even my grandfather, actually built a townhouse, and it was a big stir at that time, years back, building that, as well as some other property owners who built houses with higher elevations that were not accustomed to. So those are some of the things that when Commissioner Harris talks about that historical standpoint throughout the years, that's what we've seen. So for a lot of people in that neighborhood, and this is just for public information, it's a shock to a lot of people in the community. And it's not you, it's, it's other properties that have been built that have these 2 to 3 story elevations that at one time they weren't even seen in that community. So, so that's where some of it, as well as the frustration from the house that, we see every day. So I don't want you to feel like we're attacking you by any means, because, I just want to say that because I think sometimes people feel like they're getting attacked when they get those type of calls or anything. But I want you to understand where some of the community is coming from, and just wanting to see, want a good product. And I think we're at this critical stage, which I stated back originally when we first came into this, that this is going to be a reoccurring issue when we came to these type of properties. And it's something that, we got to figure out something, as Commissioner Harris said, because it's going to keep happening. And I will say we had that same conversation with a property over here in downtown not too long ago for that same type of property as well. So this is definitely, it's not just in that community, but it's all other communities. But it's one of those things where I look at it myself growing up there, that we understand that, what were accustomed to so many years, and we know stuff is going to change, people are going to change, the property is going to change. So that's just one of the things, and we just want to see if you're going to, for me, if you're going to build it, and make it look nice, and I think it's one of those things now where we see some properties that they built single family, those properties that we seen during town board retreat. I wanted to say that we spoke about this whole conversation for, I know it was at least 30, 45 minutes during town board retreat, and thank you to management for bringing it up, because I don't want y'all to think we don't have in-depth conversations about this. We had a very in-depth conversation and about all these different types of properties and what we want to see in the future. So I just want to put that out to the public, so you don't think that we're not discussing this stuff as elected officials, that this is not on our mind, because in the day, it is my neighborhood. So, these are things we are talking about, and it's in public record when it comes to town board retreat that we discuss this as well. So,
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Appreciate you coming here tonight this time. The hearing is closed already, and we had asked last time for the petitioner to come here and be able to answer some questions there. Town attorney, just refresh the board and the public for knowledge tonight. If the property is not rezoned, what can or cannot be built on there that this board cannot stop from being built on there, because it's been that way since it was originally platted and allowed?
Right now, this property is 2 separate lots, so under the code, they could build 2 single-family homes that fit within the setbacks on those 2 lots. That'd be 2 very narrow homes.
So the density does not change. It's 2 units,
Still
whether
will be
anything's
2
approved
units.
tonight or not. 2 units will be built on there.
And there would be no aesthetic requirements as are being conditioned on this rezoning.
Okay, and so the whole reason the board is discussing this rezoning is that it can have 1 townhome built, which is 2 units, which would have zoning aesthetic conditions volunteered up, or nothing is rezoned. 2 units will still be built and be built whatever the man wants to build there.
That's correct.
So the whole reason we're discussing this tonight is trying to have some conditions there.
That's
Okay.
correct.
All right. All right, just want to make sure the board understood 2 units are getting built no matter what. What is the pleasure of the board? Any further discussion? If not,
I just have one question
pleasure
for
of the board.
clarification.
Go ahead, Commissioner
One
Hank
question.
Harris, excuse me.
So residential low density, that's not only specific to this particular area, but that zoning and those dimensions, those 15-foot wide lots are applicable to the entire town of Fuquay-Varina?
We have a lot of record standard, which
A
means
lot-
if.
what does that mean, lot
That
of
means
record?
if we have old lots that were recorded, like much of the Lincoln Heights neighborhood was recorded in the 1940s, those lots of record are smaller, they have smaller dimensions than what you would see in subdivisions we approve today. But as part of our code, if you own a lot, you've got the right to build a single-family home. I think the intention there is you wouldn't want to have lots hanging out here that you could do nothing with. So the code allows 1 single-family home on a lot, even though that lot may not meet our current standards. It's because the lot's been on record for 70-some years.
One other question. So that lot of record that was initiated in the 40s, was it applicable for the entire town or just for the Lincoln Heights area, to your knowledge,
I mean, it would depend, that map was recorded at that time
for that particular
for
area?
that particular area. There were maps recorded all over town, but I would have to compare them one to another. Those are some of the most, I'd say, smaller lots that I've seen recorded in town, in that area.
Yeah, and that's what I struggle with. At that time, the inequity that occurred at that particular time that has resulted in the zoning now, that's legal, but at that time in the 1940s, it was not equitable across the entire town. And so you had an area, the Lincoln Heights area, that developed under a different set of standards than the entire town of Fuquay-Varina. And that's what we're presented from my perspective here. It's a matter of equity in regards to development. If the standard of development and the quality of development was applicable to one area and not another area, and we see the consequences of that today because we have a situation where you have development in a particular area that's not representative historically of the entire town. And so when we have these development issues, that's what I struggle with from the standpoint that even though you had a lot of record in the 1940s, you still had people in the Lincoln Heights area who built, to the best of their ability, single-family homes and wanted to sustain that quality of life based on that. But now, because of the new zoning requirements, we're reverting back to using the lot of record as the means for approving density in a neighborhood that has historically not been dense. So that's the issue that I have with the proposal and the proposed rezoning.
And to add to that a little bit, this is more of a subdivision issue. It's not really a zoning issue. That subdivision map was recorded, and anytime a map goes on record, you've got these recorded lots, and you can convey them. If they're small lots, big lots, you can convey them as a property owner.
Yeah.
And unless some other map is recorded that recombines those lots, and that has to be done by the property owner, the town can't go and recombine people's lots.
So just so I can be clear about that,
That's the issue.
There is nothing that our zoning ordinances have done to create this, our new zoning ordinances or our modern zoning ordinances have done to create this issue. And we have, to James's, just to clarify or restate what James just said, we have no legal remedy as the town to correct small lot recordings from the 1940s today. It would require property owners to be willing to recombine small lots to make them larger lots to accommodate a larger, less dense single-family home. The town has no legal remedy to correct the lot sizes that were created in the 1940s.
Yeah, I understand that. However, in our land use plan, some of the foundations of that land use plan is mentioning preserving the character of a neighborhood and ensuring quality of life. Now, those are not necessarily legal issues, but that's an issue that of value in regards to how we see neighborhoods develop. And whether we want to put that as part of the discussion or not, we can revert back to the legality of it, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint of an elected official who is representing the members of that community and the entire community of Fuquay-Varina, is where we're going to fall when it comes to these kinds of issues. That's why I think we need to have a more in-depth discussion about this, because it is going to continue to come up, and it speaks to the core of our commitment. And I will go back to this issue of equity. It's something that we fell into, but I think that we have to have this kind of hard discussion if we're going to move from it and make sure that we treat everybody, every taxpaying citizen, everybody who wants to reside in Fuquay and live comfortable, have a quality of life. Those who lived in old neighborhoods have that quality of life preserved. We need to have a conversation about that and do whatever we can to make sure we sustain the quality of life for those citizens who have worked hard, they've built homes, they've paid taxes, and they're viable citizens here in this community.
James, and so not get too far off the conversation, is there any law we can pass that says you have a 1940 25-foot wide lot and we're not gonna allow you to build on it?
And I think that constitutes a regulatory taking if I own a 25-foot lot and all of a sudden you tell me I can't use my lot, I have no legal use for it anymore in a residential area. So that presents a legal issue to the town.
So you're saying
creating that. Because the code has always favored and treated nonconformities, because when new codes were adopted, a lot of old existing buildings, existing lots are non-conforming, but we have this provision for this lot of record standard that protects property owners. If the code changes over time and I have a lot that now is rendered non-conforming, I still have ability to move forward and use that lot.
So we can discuss it all we want to, but there's nothing we can legally do to stop it. So we can talk.
If you prohibited building on lots that are under a certain width, then there are a lot of lots out here that would have no economic viability to anyone, and that could affect, those property owners negatively.
So we can talk about it all day, but there's no law we can place that says you're not allowed to go build on a 25-foot wide lot that was created in 1940s.
Yeah, you risk a legal challenge if you try to adopt something like that.
Okay, all right, that's what I want to make sure I understand. So we can talk about it, there's nothing that can be done about it right now.
And then the other thing, Mr. Mayor, me, I'm all about educating the public, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that elect us. So, I mean, honestly, I almost wish they could have seen the diagrams that we saw of what these two lots and really what we face with these decisions, what it looks like if we put no conditions on them, this way they can build in these small lots, or if we put conditions on them, or if they give voluntary conditions to what they're gonna build, what it should look like, which we understand one property said it was gonna do that, but it's not. But also it's something that we're gonna face every one of these decisions, just showing that this small lot will build this little, I mean, they showed us on properties on Cherry Street where these small houses were built that are, these, I guess, could they be considered row houses?
Yes, sir, row houses, shotgun houses is what they've been referred to before.
Compared to a product that our petitioner today is presenting us. So those are one of those things that we're facing, even though, and it's tough. I mean, at times it makes you feel like it's kind of lose-lose, but, this is what we have to face as, elected officials. So I just want to convey that to the community that, this is where we are. And, this is what we face. And as Mr. Mayor said, it's, it's something we can talk about all day, but at the same time, a property owner can build what they want to build on it. So, I just want to convey that to the public, because it's all about education from us to let the public know, what's going on.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead, manager.
Part of the logic when the town board debated and discussed the land use plan a little over a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when we updated the land use plan, was that given the tools in the toolbox that we have, which are very limited with lots of record, the best remedy would be to allow a zoning that would create an opportunity for the town to discuss with a proposed developer or builder voluntary conditions that would allow for a better quality product. Voluntary conditions oftentimes give us the opportunity to discuss with a builder or developer materials that are used for the house, more sustainable, more durable materials than your typical run-of-the-mill vinyl siding. It allows us to talk about architectural features where we're not allowed to do that outside of voluntary zoning conditions. It allows us to talk about paint colors and aesthetics, landscaping. There's lots of different paths we can go down to discuss with a builder when we can have a conversation about voluntary conditions. Without rezoning and voluntary conditions, in reality, a builder can go in there, build a 15-foot wide house on a 25-foot lot to meet setbacks with no conditions, no enhanced landscaping, no enhanced architectural features, no enhanced building materials. Basically, just put the cheapest product they can on the ground. And from a sustainability and durability standpoint, that's long-term what this board and what management and staff did not view would be in the best interest of any community, whether it was the Lincoln Heights subdivision or downtown subdivisions that have these small lots as well. A lot of the downtown has small lots of record as well. And so the goal was to encourage, at the end of the day, a better product. And that's what the TCR zoning allows for.
Manager, thank you, everybody, for the comments on that. Let's look for a motion from somebody.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask one quick?
Commissioner Wunsch, go ahead.
Very quick question. One of the other things I heard was maintaining and keeping a clean and orderly site. And that was a concern that was talked about quite a bit at the last public hearing. I'm not sure how clean and orderly is defined, but, and I would imagine fines can be issued. Is that something that we can help to protect, as was the concern was the neighborhood from a site that is not clean, a site that is not orderly, or a site that may be dangerous? I don't know. Just I guess my question is, what kind of protections can be put in place so that they're not that concerned anymore?
Well, our town code speaks to properties that are nuisances to public health, that may harbor varmints, things of that nature. It speaks to trash. It speaks to a public nuisance. And our code compliance department can go out there, go through a legal process. The North Carolina general statutes are specific about the fact that you got to give a certain amount of time to give a violator the opportunity to remedy the situation before you can begin fining them or taking more severe action. And so our code compliance, in the case of the example of the other property on Longfellow that we've had problems with, they've gone out on numerous occasions and have cited that builder for having not kept a orderly and clean site. Now, orderly and clean site is a loose term, and a lot of it is subjective, and so it is more about trying to help them understand that to be a good neighbor, they should keep the property looking orderly and clean and maintained. And if they're not doing that, then we can potentially look at other remedies that we've had conversations with our town attorney about. But right now, they're meeting after we've gone and issued them citations. They appear to be meeting the extent of what we can require them to do under our code. So any building that is occurring in our town, if there are concerns about it not being kept orderly, maintained, and clean, we would send our code compliance officers out there to evaluate it and then work with the builder to make improvements. And that's what we would do in any situation.
Thank you, Manager. Any further questions from board members? If not, we'll entertain some kind of motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd motion we approve REZ 2414, a zoning map amendment at 426, 428 Longfellow Street from residential low-density zoning district to the town center residential zoning district as is reasonable in the best interest of the public for the reasons identified by management and staff.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? I hear no second. Motion dies for lack of a second. Any other motions that would like to be made? Town Attorney, if no motion is made at all, what happens?
The decision needs to be made one way or the other. If no decision is made, then it's not approved
So
or
motion,
denied. It just continues on. We've got to make some decision here.
so motion to approve. We did not receive a second. So what's that leave left
We need an
for options?
alternative. We need an alternative motion to deny, and also in your motion state the reasons why, because this motion incorporates the reasons identified by management and staff. But whoever's going to formulate a motion needs to have the reasons why.
All right.
It's being
So if
denied.
somebody would like to make a motion to deny, state your motion and your reasons why. So if nobody makes a motion, what happens? We just sit here till somebody makes a motion?
Table it to another meeting, but
What's the point in tabling it? Commissioner Harris, any motions to be made?
No, Mr. Mayor, I don't have a motion.
Commissioner Hancock, any motions to be made?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Gardner, any motions to be made?
No.
Commissioner Haynes, any motions to be made?
No.
Commissioner Wunsch already made a motion, didn't die for a second. What you want to do next, Mr. Attorney?
Well, no approval has taken place either way, so
Okay.
the property remains zoned as it is.
So we're going to the
Until we
next
make a
item on the
decision, we'll go
agenda?
To the next agenda item.
Okay, that's what I was asking about. All right. All right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. No determination on this item on the agenda. Next item on the agenda, item 7A, public hearing. Abandonment of right-of-way. Resolution ordering the closure of Sunset Drive, SC-2024-03. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davidson. Bam, get back up.
I am submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official record of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a resolution ordering the closure of Sunset Drive, approximately 862 linear feet, following an application submitted by the Wake County Public School System. The Wake County Public School System is requesting this roadway abandonment process to clean up the property's title, as a portion of the property is to be abandoned and will be included in the school's future expansion plans. The public hearing has been advertised for 4 consecutive weeks. All adjacent property owners have been notified via certified mail, and a sign was placed at the subject street as required by the North Carolina General Statutes. The suggested motion tonight is to adopt the resolution ordering the closure of Sunset Drive, approximately 862 linear feet, as presented and recommended. I'm available for any questions.
This is part of the expansion, can't talk right. The renovation and rehabilitation of Fuquay-Varina Elementary School,
Sure.
which I went to elementary school at for all 6 years, kindergarten plus 5 grades. I did not have to repeat any grades. in elementary school. Just clear that up right there. Nor any other years in school, surprisingly. But we're excited. It's bittersweet seeing the school get renovated. You know, obviously, it's exciting anytime we have money invested in our schools and changing. And Fuquay-Varina, obviously, I have a little sentimental piece of it because that's where I went to all my grade school at, and it still looks the same from when I was there. So that's very good to see that stuff done there. So, okay, all right. I think we'll open our public hearing now. No further questions for staff. The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the abandonment of right-of-way resolution? Betty Parker, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the board, and Mr. Manager and Assistant Manager. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate Ms. Davidson and her staff. They've already presented the particulars really well. This is one of those odd situations that we have on title, and we're trying to clean it up, as the mayor said, to support the renovation. We're very excited about that coming through, and we think it's going to be a good thing. We didn't hear anything from the adjacent neighbors because they kindly signed on to the petition with us. Mr. Turner and Ms. Collier have been our partners in this, and they have had access through and across the property via that roadway all these years without any issue. So we appreciate them working with us. We appreciate you working with us. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have and would appreciate your support of this road closure.
Any questions at this time? Thank you, Betty. Thank you all that you've done. When's the official retirement date?
February 28th is the last day.
So is this your last public meeting that you have?
It's the last public meeting before the lovely town of Fuquay-Varina.
That's right.
I have another couple, but not with this auspicious group, unfortunately.
Well, you've done a great job with what you've done for real estate for Wake County Public Schools. So thank you for your hard work and your service.
Thank you, and I appreciate this board and all the prior boards and mayors and managers I've had a chance to work with. Everybody's been very kind, very collaborative, very professional, and look what we've done together, an awful lot.
That's
So
right.
thank you for your time and
We wish you
consideration.
success in your retirement. Thank you,
Thank you,
Betty.
sir.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of the abandonment of right-of-way resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the abandonment of right-of-way resolution? Hearing is now closed. Any discussion by the board? If not, what is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Mayor, I think me and Commissioner Adcock can say get over it because our school's been renovated a long time ago in Lincoln Heights. So I'll make a motion to adopt this resolution ordering the closure of Sunset Drive as presented and recommended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Betty, you've continued your streak of motions at meetings. That's right. Thank you. Next item is consent agenda. What's the board's pleasure on the items on the consent agenda? Motion to approve is recommended, or any changes?
Motion.
Go ahead.
Have a
Motion to approve as presented.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Administrative Report 10A, Preliminary Subdivision Plat, True Love Farm Subdivision, SUB PR 2024-08. More information about agenda item will be presented by Planning Director Davison. Pamela.
I'm back. I'm submitting the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official records of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider a preliminary subdivision plat submitted by the Timmons Group for True Love Farms located at 7650 True Love Road. The submitted preliminary subdivision is 23.84 acres in the residential medium-density conditional zoning district and proposes 50 zero-lot line lots. Following the zero lot line standards, the minimum lot width permitted and proposed is 50 feet. The average lot size required and proposed is 6,000 square feet, and the average lot size is 6,156 square feet. The required amount of open space is 15%, or 3.58 acres, and 57.29, or 13.66 acres of open space is proposed. 50%, or 1.79 acres of the required open space is both required and proposed to be activated common green with amenities including benches, 2 open playfields, picnic tables, cornhole boards, and a mulch trail. Zero lot line developments are included as a residential development option to promote and provide an alternative means of residential ownership that does not follow the traditional method of single-family residential development. The homes are shifted to one side of the lot, which serves as a garden wall for the adjacent home. The windows and interior layout of the homes are focused towards the wider side of the lot, providing a level of privacy for both the interior and exterior spaces. The proposed preliminary subdivision plat meets all town requirements, and management and staff recommend approval. At the January 14th, 2025 regular meeting, the Planning Board found the subdivision plat consistent with the town requirements and voted unanimously to recommend approval. The suggested motion tonight is to approve the True Love Farm Subdivision Preliminary Subdivision Plat SUB PR 2024-08, located at 7650 True Love Road, as presented and recommended. I'm available for any questions.
Okay. Further questions for Pamela, Director Davison? Okay. If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Massengill, I move that we approve the True Love Farm subdivision plat SUB-PR-2024-08 as presented and recommended.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next administrative report, item 10B, scope and fee proposal, library park design. More information about agenda item will be presented by Parks and Recreation Director Cox. Jonathan, on the eve of a big day.
That's right. Tomorrow's a big day, cutting the ribbon at Hilltop Needmore Town Park Community Center. Very excited. 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good evening, Board. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider an award for a design contract with Site Collaborative for the library park design project and authorize the town manager or his designee to execute the contract. At the December 17th Town Board meeting, the Board identified Site Collaborative as the best qualified firm to design Library Park and authorized the town manager to negotiate scope and fee. The proposed contract defines a scope of services that include the following components: schematic design, construction documentation and permitting, bidding services, park construction management, existing condition survey, and geotechnical services. The proposed fee for scope is $214,000, which is consistent with industry norms for master planning services for public projects of similar scope and falls within the adopted budget for the library park project. Management and staff recommend approval of the negotiated scope and fee agreement, subject to town attorney review as to form. As a fiscal note, FY25 budget includes initial funding of $1 million for the design and construction of library park project. With the total cost of library park design services at $214,000, staff expect additional funding will be necessary to complete the project due to construction escalation. The recommendation by motion is to award the design contract to Site Collaborative for the library park project as presented and recommended. subject to town attorney review as to form, and authorize the town manager or his designee to execute the contract on the town's behalf. I'll be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
We talked, not long ago about this project and this park right here. What's the timeline that you're expecting?
I would think 9 months to go through the construction document process, bidding, another 60 days. So we're probably a year from breaking ground at this point.
And then probably a year of
A year from
construction?
now. Correct, till we start construction.
A year till we start, and then a year for construction. So 2 years from now, it'd be complete, hopefully.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, as good as you did on the community center, bringing it in ahead of schedule and under budget, I'm sure you can do something here too,
We'll do
right,
our
Jonathan?
best.
That's right. Any questions for Jonathan from board members? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, so move.
Have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Don't forget to be there at 9 o'clock.
Bright and early.
Next administrative report, item 10C, BL0054 Southeast Judd Parkway Improvements Project Supplemental Funding Agreement. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Engineering Director Poland. Matt, good evening.
Good evening, good evening, Mayor. I am submitting this agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official record of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to approve a project ordinance amendment and authorize the town manager to enter into a municipal supplemental funding agreement with the North Carolina Department of Transportation for the BL0054 Southeast Judd Parkway Improvement Project. Now, this transportation project is anticipated to begin in March of 2025 and going to take about 12 months to complete. It consists of 600 feet of new sidewalk, curb and gutter, storm drainage improvements, some minor pavement and striping. And this is the supplemental agreement that the town had obtained from NCDOT and Campo to cover some of the overages of the project that we awarded, so, I want to say it was several months ago. But the overall supplemental funding agreement is a 50-50 match with $50,000 coming from Campo and $50,000 coming from the town. The total project funding is going to end up being $823,960. So here's a map of the improvements. So the recommended motion tonight is to approve a project ordinance amendment POA 2514 to appropriate the additional $50,000 grant and reduce the transfer from the 2024 transportation GO bonds in the same amount, and to authorize the town manager to enter into a municipal supplemental funding agreement with NCDOT for the BL0054 Southeast Judd Parkway Improvements Project, subject to the town attorney's review as to form. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I do have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
On parts of Judd Parkway, I think we're now requiring side paths. I think here we're connecting 5-foot sidewalks. So if this was being developed, would a developer be able to put in a 5-foot sidewalk here, or would they be required to do a side path even though it's tying into sidewalks?
I would have to look at our transportation plan. There are, road sections that require side path, and there are road sections that require sidewalk. I believe this is one of our legacy sections, but I would have to get back with you on that.
No big deal. I just didn't know if we were making an exception to the plan, but in doing something that made maybe common sense, since we're connecting like to like. But I was thinking that at least some parts of Judd Parkway we're doing side paths on. Just curious.
Down there near the very next intersection to Anger Road, where the new townhomes were built on the right, you're right, some of that is double side path. I call it double width. Yeah, same thing you're describing right there on there. But when that stuff was updated, I think this project started its process, Matt, correct me on any of this if I say something wrong, before those, some of that stuff started. But I think the biggest thing is what you just said here is, hey, you got standard size at each end of it, make it match instead of putting something different in between there. And so, Matt, thank you for designing that, keeping the the similarity, unique, the commonality of it through there. But as Charlie's talking about this place right here, Commissioner Adcock, from nearly all of Judd Parkway, it's one little area that doesn't have sidewalk on it, but nearly all of Judd Parkway will have a sidewalk on it. You pretty much can go from Main Street to Main Street on sidewalk. I know
On
that
both
far.
sides.
You can go to Fleming Loop, or at least one, at minimum one of the two sides. You can go all the way down to Fleming Loop Park too, and on around the food line.
Yes, sir.
How many miles long is Judd Parkway? About 13 miles.
It's about that. Mhm.
So I was thinking 13. Well, I do know that there is a track star going to college on a scholarship. She'd probably like to run 13 miles around our town belt line. But I don't know about her daddy.
Maybe twice.
I don't know if her daddy wants to do it, but.
He does not.
Great, and neither do me and Charlie.
I'd get on a scooter and do it.
Jake got a new scooter for Christmas. He's got a scooter in a heartbeat. I like, can you give me an electric scooter instead of a pedal scooter? All right, thank you, Matt, for this hard work on this. Any further questions for staff? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the project amendment, POA 2514, to appropriate the additional 50,000 grant funding and to reduce the transfer from the 2024 transportation general obligation bonds in the same amount, and authorize the town manager to enter into a municipal supplemental funding agreement with NCDOT for the BL 0054 Southeast Judd Parkway Improvement Project, subject to the town attorney's review to form.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. How long before work starts on this, Matt?
March.
March. That's what I thought, coming up real soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, tell them to get to work. Thank you, Matt. Next item on our agenda, BL 0038 Jones Street Sidewalk Project Supplemental Funding Agreement. We're gonna have both these major sidewalks done tonight, hopefully. More information about the agenda item will be presented by Engineering Director Poland. Matt?
Yes, sir. I'm submitting this agenda abstract and the supporting documents into the official record of the town. The purpose of this agenda item is to approve a project ordinance amendment and authorize the town manager to enter into a municipal supplemental funding agreement with the North Carolina Department of Transportation for the BL 0038 Jones Street project. Again, this project is also anticipated to begin in March of 2025 and be completed in roughly the 9 to 10 month window. The sidewalk is 1,200 linear feet of new sidewalk, curb and gutter, storm drainage, pavement, and striping. This is a little bit larger funding agreement with a total of $300,000, with 150,000 coming from Campo and 150,000 being the town match. This will end up bringing the total project funding to $1,206,300. And so this is East Jones Street, which is connecting Main Street to where the old Fuquay-Varina Middle School used to be. And so our recommended motion tonight is to approve a project ordinance amendment POA 2515 to appropriate an additional $150,000 grant funding and reduce the transfer from the 2024 transportation GO bonds in the same amount, and two, authorize the town manager to enter into a municipal supplemental funding agreement with NCDOT for the BL 0038 Jones Street Sidewalk Project, subject to the town attorney's review as to form. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions about the project.
When will this project get started?
March.
All right. Any further questions from board members? If not, we can entertain a motion. So moved.
Mayor Massagill, I move that we approve the motion as presented as recommended by management and staff.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, Matt, big projects. They won't start before March. We won't complain. Next item, 10E, agreement for purchase and sale of real property and budget amendment BA 25-14, 101 North Main Street. More information about this item will be presented by Town Manager Mitchell. Adam?
Thank you, Mayor. Let me see if I can The purpose of this agenda item is to consider the approval of an agreement for purchase and sale of real property for 101 North Main Street and approve the budget amendment, BA 25-14, following the adoption of the town's downtown generational plan, which includes a public space concept, Piney Woods Park. The town was presented with the opportunity to purchase 101 North Main Street. After consideration and a desire to begin securing property for the eventual development of the town square public space, I'm recommending that we purchase 101 North Main Street given its recent availability. The agreement for purchase and sale of real property at this location identifies specific terms and conditions, which include the purchase price of $1,500,000, an examination period of 90 days, the property's legal description, existing leases with 3 businesses here in town, and additional provisions which would include the recommended closure of King Street if necessary for development. Recommendation, not a requirement for the board to approve that. Here again is the land area for the Piney Woods Park concept area, and 101 North Main Street is highlighted in, now there are a few parcels in that orange area that are not a part of the Piney Woods concepts. I should just note that, but 101 North Main Street is, and that's highlighted in blue. Here is the Piney Woods Park vision from our downtown generational plan that was adopted by the board previously within the last few months. And so the recommendation to the town board this evening is to approve the agreement for the purchase and sale of real property for 101 North Main Street as recommended and presented, subject to town attorney review to form, authorize the town manager to execute the agreement on the town's behalf, and approve budget amendment BA 25-14. I'm happy to answer any questions the town board may have, and I have submitted the agenda abstract and supporting documents into the official record of the town.
You know, this is a opportunity that was presented to us as we showed success already with a first opportunity right here beside Town Hall. And the project that's coming up here, and as all the input came from downtown master plan, this park rose up. You know, we've seen parks have they've always been popular, but downtown destination parks and communities have really been a popular attribute right there. And we know that it's a long game. It's going to take some time to assembly land and have this area put together for the future of it. But this was a great opportunity on that marquee corner when it came up here for us. I think also does not need to be confused. I know questions come before with existing businesses in this area, and they can continue to operate. It does not. The master plan does not affect any of that, and none of those businesses have any concern right there as they can continue operating how they want to, and this does not affect them right there. But as we plan and look for what Fuquay-Varina can be, many years down the road, this key corner helps really transform our downtown right there. Adam, hopefully I know we got some other property owners in this area that are interested in being a part of this, and so I know you'll stay close to them on that and continue to bring opportunities
yes,
to
sir.
the board on that. Any questions for staff?
I just want to say thank you, town manager, for specifying that some of those properties are not included in that Piney Woods development. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's be trying to hit that, remind them. All right.
One thing, you know, I think this is a key piece of property in our downtown, and there's a lot of opportunity for us. And one of the things that makes me feel good about it is I think, and we've talked about it, we need to, where we can, try to do a good job of preserving the character of the downtown. These businesses, I would not call them historic buildings. Most of them have not been there that long. And if we do decide that there's a better use for the property than the existing buildings, then I'm fine with that. I think there's a lot of good opportunity there. But I couldn't say that about all of the property. I think there are a lot of key buildings downtown that we need to be at least trying our best to see if we can preserve them. Mayor Pro Tem Gardner made a comment recently that once some of these key buildings were gone, that they're gone forever. So I just wanted to make that comment. I think this is a good property because it's right here at the intersection. It's key. And I don't think, I won't have any heartburn if we do end up taking down some of these buildings at some point in the future. Maybe a long time, but that's just my opinion. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. I was listening to you. I was reviewing the plans. You were speaking right then on that. Thank you for your comments, sir. Any further comments? If not, we can entertain a motion so move.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, other business, town manager's report. Adam?
All right, thank you, Mayor. Well, we just spent several days together at our town planning retreat, but we have had some distance between our last meeting, regular town board meeting, and this one, so there are a few departmental updates I want to just advise the board and the public about. Our new economic development director, Christian Green, will start on February 24th. We're excited to welcome him on board. He joins us from Stonecrest, Georgia, and before that he worked in both Glendale and Scottsdale, Arizona. So he has a wide array of experience and talent with respect to economic development. We're excited about Christian and his talents coming on board to work with us on our economic development goals. The public utilities staff will be subsurface investigating a water line leak in the area of NC 55 and Dickens Road this Wednesday around 11 p.m. Okay, so hopefully the after-hours inspection won't disturb traffic in our community, especially during peak hours, but I do want to make the board and public aware of this maintenance inspection on a water leak that we have taken notice of. And Justin Rogers was hired as a senior maintenance operator at the Terrible Creek wastewater treatment plant facility, so we're excited to have him come on board and be a part of our team. Campo's executive board has opened a public comment period for the fiscal year 26 LAP program investment. The engineering department has submitted 2 projects on the town's behalf, both of which are being recommended for funding. The operational improvements of the Bowling Road South Main Street intersection is recommended to receive about 1.3, almost $1.4 million in an 80-20 match for the town, and this will be for right-of-way and design, or design and right-of-way. Construction will hopefully come in a subsequent application. And the Bridge Street pedestrian improvements, which includes sidewalk all the way from where the sidewalk currently stops, just past Lincoln Heights Elementary School, all the way to Northwest Judd Parkway. It will receive, if approved by the Executive Board of Campo, $3.5 million, just north of $3.5 million on an 80-20 match, and that will be for right-of-way and construction. So that's a project that I know this board has spent a number of years planning for and working towards pursuing, and I just want to say great work to Matt and the engineering department and his team for having put together a competitive application and one that makes sense to both Campo and DOT and federal funding agencies that are involved in this. The scoping for design services for the Bridge Street pedestrian improvements is already underway. That was a project that the town board made a decision to go ahead and invest in the design, and that is in large part what has allowed the right-of-way and construction to score so favorably. So good work on this board to go ahead and allocate those funds to put us in a better position to get this very sizable grant if approved by the executive board. The engineering department has advertised for the Northeast Judd Broad Street intersection operational improvements. The bids will be open tomorrow, and an agenda item will be brought to the town board for award in the second meeting of February. And construction is anticipated to begin in the spring of this year, 2025, and it will be about a 12 to 18-month project to complete. So big intersection project, but it's going to make some great improvements to a busy intersection in our town. Long Range Planner 2, Allison Wiley, with our planning department, has submitted, or been admitted, into the UNC School of Government Community Development Academy this spring. She will be the 3rd person in the planning department who will graduate from this intensive course. which covers community economic development concepts, methods, and strategies. So a great professional development opportunity for Alice, and we appreciate her taking the initiative to do this course while also doing her professional responsibilities here with the town. Officer Bryce Rossetti has advanced to Police Officer 2 on the career ladder, so we want to congratulate Bryce. Chief Smith has had the opportunity to meet with the Women's Club and provide information about the police department and current operations, which I think was well received. The police department participated in a superheroes breakfast that was hosted by Bentwin's Golf and Country Club. Children got to hang out with the officers, explore the police cars, and learn about their jobs. Now, that's a tall task to put up a Fuquay-Varina police officer with Captain America and Spider-Man and all sorts of superheroes, but I think they held their own and were probably more, the kids were more excited to see them than those superheroes. So that was a pretty cool thing that our police department got a chance to participate in. Chief Smith, I mentioned this under police department, but it also involves two of our elected officials. Chief Smith, Mayor Massago, and Commissioner Wunsch all played in a charity basketball game with the Harlem Wizards this past week. I'm sure that they'll speak a little bit more about that. I know the audience there were able to see several slam dunks. I just don't think any of them came from those individuals. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
It's very close.
Very close, very close. The streets and sanitation departments responded well to the impact of the recent snow event, which unfortunately fell on a recycling day. The streets department was active in brining the streets before the snow or almost snow and clearing and treating trouble spots efficiently after it fell. The sanitation department completed all recycling pickup after running trash routes on Friday, which made for a long day for our staff, but they did a fantastic job. Now that the holiday season is beyond us and the loose leaf collection season has passed, our street staff have been focused on litter cleanup because they know in the very short future we are back into mowing season, and we want to try to keep our right-of-ways clear of litter so that our mowers aren't spreading it all over the place. So our department's focusing on that. The final inspection trip for the new fire engines, our 4 new fire engines, occurred during the last week of January, and these look fantastic. We're going to be the envy of many around this area of Wake County and our state for these state-of-the-art fire engines. So thank you to the board for making this very important investment. These trucks should be delivered by mid-February and hopefully in service by mid-March. Chiefs Garland Johnston and Jerry Crocker attended the State Fire Chiefs Mid-Winter Conference last week, gaining valuable continuing education training, and they will bring that back to our department to share throughout the organization. And our inaugural Citizens Fire Academy applications are open through February 21st. So if you know of anyone in our community that wants to learn more about the fire service and what our firefighters do every day to protect and serve our community, encourage them to participate and apply for the Citizens Academy. The program will offer an interactive educational program running 6 consecutive Tuesday nights beginning on March 11th. Our Parks and Recreation Department has an exciting day ahead of them tomorrow with the ribbon cutting of our Hilltop Needmore Town Park Community Center. This is a fantastic facility that the community will enjoy for generations. The ribbon cutting is at 9 a.m. tomorrow, which is already slated to be a beautiful day in our community. In addition to this fantastic facility opening, youth athletics spring late registration is underway, and we currently have, for the spring, for youth athletics, 4,371 youth in our community that have signed up for participating in youth athletics. This program and offering continues to just expand, and we've become well known around Wake County and the state, frankly, for offering a first-class youth athletics program of offerings. So keep up the great work to our Parks and Rec department for that. The mayor mentioned it earlier with his Black History Month proclamation. Black History Month started with the Gospel Showcase this past Saturday. It was a sold-out performance with 70-plus singers and musicians participating. It was a fantastically well-received event in our community. The Arts Center was recently notified of winning the bronze distinction for Best Performing Arts Center from 5 West Magazine. Now, gold and silver were Deepak and Cocoa Booth Amphitheater. So I think we're in pretty darn good company with that. So
yeah, Maureen.
Congratulations to Maureen. and
Good
her
job.
team for having been recognized by 5 West Magazine. That's fantastic. Tax forms were mailed out to our employees on January 28th, and our employees can also access those through their employee portal. So our HR department's been busy working in concert with our finance department on getting information out for our employees. And annual safety training has been rolled out by our human resources department for all employees. Our employees have 60 days to complete the online training for the topics of emergency communication in the workplace, ethical decision-making in the workplace, hazard communication, and bloodborne pathogens. All of these trainings help to keep our workers' compensation insurance premiums to a minimum, and they're just generally good practice to be trained on. Our budget process has begun. Our finance department is very busy and will be for the next few months. The department's directors will submit their budget requests and recommendations by Valentine's Day, February 14th. Management and finance staff have already met with one of our departments, our fire department leadership, so that we can review their budget submittal to the Wake County for cost share purposes. I want to again just mention the snow event that we had in January. These sort of snows are tough to make decisions on. You know, you either want no snow or you want like 10 inches of it. So, you know, these 1 inchers make things very difficult. But I think our staff did a fantastic job to plan, prepare for it, get our roads back in drivable conditions in very short order and short time. So I want to again thank our public works staff for all of their efforts. And our Parks and Rec maintenance staff, they handled a lot of the downtown sidewalks and around Town Hall and just did a fantastic job. And I again want to just say thank you, Mayor, to you and our board members for what I believe was a fantastic annual planning retreat. A lot of great information was discussed over a 2-day period, and it's going to be very helpful and impactful in the planning for our fiscal year 26 budget, our 5-year plan, and really thinking long-term in the next 10, 20 years of how we're going to plan for our community, whether it be growth-related, transportation-related, or whether it just generally be quality of life related. We spent a lot of time talking about quality of life investments and vision and dream work for our future of our community. And without this board being willing to put that hard work in, it really would make it very difficult for management and staff to do our job. So we want to thank you for a great retreat. With that, Mr. Mayor, I have no more comments to make during the manager's report. I'm happy to answer any questions that you or the town board may have.
Questions for management? Okay. All right. Thank you very much for the report. Town board member comments. Commissioner Harris, any comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I think we did something very exciting tonight. That's the agreement for purchase and sale of real property and a budget amendment at 101 North Main Street. I think that's a monumental decision because what it's going to do is really change the appearance of downtown Fuquay-Varina by moving toward providing a town square. It's going to be sort of, in my vision, a definition of really identifying the core for Fuquay-Varina. It's going to be so important how we move forward and the kind of development that we encourage there. And I think that this is the beginning of that, and this is really exciting to see what's going to happen on that corner there of Academy and North Main Street.
I agree. Thank you.
Comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Harris. Commissioner Adcock.
I enjoyed the retreat, and I appreciate all the effort that staff put in, but also it's nice that we've got a good group that we all kind of enjoy being together, and it's not really like work. It's almost fun being together, and we all get along, and so I think we're blessed in that regard, and you know, the sun is always shining bright on Fuquay-Varina.
I know that's right. Thank you. Commissioner Wunsch, any comments?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would echo what Commissioner Harris said at first about a tremendously positive decision in acquiring that land right after we approve our downtown master plan. That's a good decision, I think, and especially as we know land continues to get more and more expensive. And I want to thank, too, the property owners for choosing Fuquay-Varina. They didn't have to sell to us. They could have perhaps, chosen to sell somewhere else, but they gave us the opportunity to begin and acquire property, just as with our mixed-use development, to begin to acquire property for our downtown plan, and I appreciate that. And also echo what Commissioner Adcock said about a wonderful thank you for the time that our managers and staff put into the retreat. It was a phenomenal retreat. Retreats, this was my 10th retreat, and retreats are, if you're not exhausted by the end of the retreat, then I don't see how you couldn't be, because it's something that's very intense. It is, the day is full. The conversations are great. It's packed with decisions to discuss and visions to lay out. I really loved, and thank you to management for day 2 in the afternoon of allowing us to have a vision of what we wanted to see in the future for Fuquay-Varina. We did this 11 years ago. And we accomplished a lot of what we laid out 11 years ago with that vision. And that's really exciting, and I appreciate all the board members' ideas. There were a lot of really great ideas, and I thought about them on the ride home, and I said, we've got, thinking to myself, we got a lot of good things, that could be done over the next 5 or 10 years. I did play in that basketball game. I did not score, but our mayor did multiple times. And our police chief was awesome. He was awesome. I enjoyed that, and it's a great fundraiser for the school. And finally, the most exciting thing that's happened to me personally since I was at the last board meeting was I became a grandfather for the first time to a grandson named Matthew, who was born 9 pounds healthy, and he is the joy of our family right now. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Air Watch.
What did you say?
Almost Air Watch. Almost Air Watch. Good job. Commissioner Haynes.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna try to run through these pretty fast. I definitely want to thank everybody that played a part in the Gospel Showcase. That was an amazing event. I'm still getting text messages and rave reviews about that event. Definitely want to thank Gabriel, Devontae, Briley Jr. for his work to get this community choir together that was over 60 voices strong, and getting the musicians and everybody and directing the choir and singing as well. He even had his director out there and his family come out and support him. So that was awesome to see that. And even I seen Parks and Rec staff as well that was there that night as well. I do want to thank the Art Center, Maureen, Dave, and everybody for all the work they did that day, as well as Susan and the communications. They were awesome as well. And I also want to give a shout out to the Fuquay-Varina Women's Club. During the event, they gave out 2 donations to the Cultural Arts Society and the Art Center as well. So I definitely want to thank the Fuquay-Varina Women's Club for doing that as well. And also a part of this whole celebration, there is a scholarship that will be given as well. And we can give that information to whoever needs that information as well. So it was an amazing event. People were talking about it. People were asking, was it going to be 2 days because it was so good. So we definitely think that even Mayor Jock Gilbert was actually there from the town of Apex. He was there as well. So it was a great day. Definitely, town board retreat was an amazing thing. Not just town management, but as well as all the directors who put all the work in to make the information available to us for a town board retreat. Last week, I was able to attend the Fuquay-Varina Middle School's spelling bee. They are now doing a national spelling bee contest. So, and Lincoln Heights had one on the same day as well. So I was actually a judge. I did not realize judging a spelling bee was so hard. Listen to every single letter and word that every kid was spelling. These kids were brilliant, and I want to shout out a 6th grader who actually won the spelling bee contest at Fuquay-Varina Middle School. I hope, please don't hurt me if I mess this name up wrong. But it's Yalani Raham, who was a sixth grader at Fuquay-Varina Middle School, who actually won the whole competition, beat the seventh and eighth graders.
Wow.
So she will be representing our town and Fuquay-Varina Middle School on February 12th at the countywide National Spelling Bee. So definitely that was awesome. A few other things is I had a great meeting. I've been appointed to the Central Pines Regional Council, the Housing Subcommittee. So we're focused on affordable housing. So this is a committee made up of elected officials as well as Triangle Community Coalition, Habitat for Humanity, and all these people who we're all sitting at a table trying to discuss affordable housing as a long term and as a regional thing. So definitely that has been a great conversation that we're working hard towards. As well as last week, I was appointed back to the Small Cities Council for the National League of Cities, as well as appointed to the Economic Development Federal Advocacy Committee for the National League of Cities. So I'll be able to represent Fuquay-Varina at the national level in the National League of Cities. So definitely that is a great honor to be able to represent the town of Fuquay-Varina in that capacity. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Commissioner Haynes, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Gardner, any comments?
Not really anything new, just thank you to staff and to our town manager and our two assistant town managers and our town attorney for the time they put in, along with staff in preparation for our retreat. That is a working meeting, and we get a lot done because of the work that has been done before we get there. So thank you very much for that. It was really exciting, and I too enjoyed the part where we got to really dream a little bit about what we might like to see in Fuquay in the future. So that was really nice. And my thanks to the stakeholders group that has put together such a wonderful cultural arts program this year as part of Black History Month. And I look forward, I had a wedding on Saturday and couldn't come back and go to the Gospel Showcase. But I gave my position up as a handler for Molly Stevenson and let one of my friends, Mamie Richardson, who couldn't get a ticket, went as Molly's handler. So anyway, it was a hot ticket to have, and I look forward to maybe something similar in another year when I can participate. And I'm looking forward to the Masters of Soul concert on Saturday at the Arts Center. And congratulations, Maureen, on the recognition for the Arts Center. It really does so much for so many people. And I love that we're getting more diversity and more competition for the tickets. It's really exciting. And I can't wait till tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for the grand opening.
Grand opening. It's going to be grand, right, Jonathan? It'll be real grand. That's right. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We thank that retreat management for their hard work on there, but also I mentioned to management at the retreat on it. The department directors are here tonight too. Thank y'all for your help. I know y'all provide a lot of information to management here for them to be able to put together their reports for us and do that. So the board, myself and the board appreciate all of y'all's hard work at the same time with that. And it means a lot. It helps us get what we need to do done. A few things I want to recognize. This is before our last board meeting before it got canceled. We had a water line break, Mike Wagner, on Jones Street at some time back around that time. And a resident had contacted me and said how much, I think it was nighttime, it was on the very cold nights. She could not give me your staff's names that were on duty that night, but how much she appreciated how quick they worked on it, how difficult they evaluated the scene. Once they realized what was going on, had the guys out there in no time flat, and knocking on neighbors' doors, letting them know what's going on, and just how quick and how hard they worked, and at the same time being frigid temperatures that night. So I'm sure you know who that was in your department. If you would, please let them know that that was appreciated by the neighbors, and I appreciate their attentiveness also on that. Speaking of that snow event that we had, I think it came in a little bit, that came 2 weeks ago now, came in a little bit more than what had originally been planned possibly with that. And so, you know, Tracy, your team, it's always tough getting out there salting and brining the roads. You don't know, you don't want to put it out there if it's not needed, because then you spend a bunch of money and you waste it all. Don't have enough for the next when you do need it. Same time, if you wait too long, you're behind 8 ball and you can't get it out there. So you're trying to figure things out there, and y'all do a good job with that. And, you know, I think we encourage our residents to stay off the roads, and that helps you. At the same time, we often will cancel town events, and that's part of the reason behind that. If we're encouraging people to stay off the road so you can take care of the roads, we don't need to be having town events at the same time, and it's kind of pot calling a kettle black at that point. But thank you to all your department and that was involved with that right there. Church Alive had a official dedication opening of their church. They have a new facility off of Highway 55 at the Entertainment Sports Complex right there. And so encourage you want to check out the inside. They got a coffee store in the inside of this church, but also it's really renovated, nice looking building. Brian, you were there that day. And they've really done a good job with that there, and serving our community. So Jimmy came, I believe it was the meeting we had before that. It was not canceled in January, and led our invocation that night. Jimmy Lunsford, the head preacher there. And then finally, right before our last, I'm trying to merge a few details together because of the snowmageddon canceling our meeting, but Arts Festival, that was January 18th through 19th, was held at Windsor Point, and the Fuquay-Varina Women's Club and Fuquay-Varina Junior Women's Club put on those 2 events right there, and it was a great turnout. They had all these schools in the area that the club can serve, or that residents of our area may possibly go to. You know, you get too far out of our community, some of the schools are taken over by other women's and juniors clubs. But they had over 12 schools, and ranging from elementary school up to high school, with kids getting awards and entering those. And so they really, really did a good job. Great participation right there. And so thank you to the Women's Club and the Junior Women's Club for being involved with that, and Windsor Point for hosting it. There's a great turnout. Encourage anybody to attend that next year. That being the case, we do have a meeting tomorrow, or not a meeting, a grand ribbon cutting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp, so be there early. There's school that's next door to that, so account for any traffic that may be there at that time, but it should be no problem. A nice brand new stoplight that's operating. No further comments from board members. Do we have closed session tonight?
There is no closed session recommended for this evening.
No closed session tonight. We'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
A motion?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Good evening.